Thank you, Chair. I'm told it's also my debut speech. Thank you, Chair. And greetings to the leadership of the Progressive Caucus. Chair, I'm a little bit worried because it seems like we're going back to the culture of reducing this department to events when there are overarching issues of streamlining sectors and the purposes of this department. It worries me because there's a huge task ahead of us in terms of fixing the department and fixing the sector. So just to give a perspective, so we have 11 disciplines just in the creative arts and culture sector, 11, over 11. We have 10 sporting codes and indigenous sporting codes that you've also spoken about. We have 28 state-owned entities, and a lot of them are dysfunctional, despite what we were told last week. A lot of them are dysfunctional, so we need to fix them. We have 3,000 libraries, over 3,000 libraries, and more that we still have to build in the rural areas and in the townships. So there's a lot more to be done, right? There's more than 300 museums and more that we still need to build. We have more than 15,000 schools in which we still have to build facilities for sporting and recreation that you mentioned earlier on. But more than this, these sectors and sporting codes that we're talking about, most of them are unregulated and untransformed. So there's a lot of work to be done there. A lot of people talk about social cohesion, but I don't think we've ever really understood what social cohesion means. And we probably need to unpack the meaning of it, but we have failed dismally at achieving social cohesion because racism seems to have come back full force in our society. On top of that, we have a peculiar situation in this country in which we have a so-called national anthem that still bears the hallmarks of apartheid. And in a situation in which we've gotten rid of the flag, the apartheid flag, it's peculiar that we get rid of the flag, but we keep the anthem. The two go together. They go together. You raise the flag so that you can sing the anthem. It is impossible for us to get rid of the one and then keep the other. The stem needs to go. It is not to say we need to get rid of Afrikaans. We can find a replacement of Afrikaans, but the stem needs to go. It is offensive. It needs to go. But let me give a background. Let me give a background.
Honorable members, please can we not drown the speaker, please.
But let me give a background of the task that lies ahead in front of us, Deputy Minister and Minister. So back in 2005, African heads of state and their ministers of arts and culture came together in Nairobi in Kenya. The purpose was to map a way forward for the arts and culture, what they then coined the creative economy, to map a way forward for it. And at the end of that summit, South Africa was one of the delegations in that meeting. At the end of that meeting, they penned down a document called the 2005 Nairobi Plan of Action. It's a thick document, but a very important document. The Nairobi Plan of Action outlined the resolutions and recommendations of the summit for heads of state to go back to their countries and implement. Nigeria went back and implemented those recommendations. This was between 2005 and 2013. In 2013, when they recalibrated the way they calculate their GDP, Nigeria became the #1 economy in Africa, right? And toppled South Africa and Egypt, I think it was. And they told us that one of the contributors to this newfound growth was the creative economy. Meanwhile, in South Africa here, the creative economy was collapsing, and it fell back into the hands of the white minority. Now, we are not in control of those sectors. Your own department, if you ask them now, your own department cannot quantify how many people we are employing in the sectors that fall under your department. Because your department is not capable of doing that. Why? Because it's not regulated. So your department released a document called the CCI Master Plan, I think it was 2022. And that document tried to give numbers in terms of employment and GDP contributions and so on and so forth.
Honorable Mokoena, unfortunately, your time has expired.
Okay. Let me just say, Minister, the task is huge. The culture is not just about events. It's not just about sports. It's not just about music events. It's about an entire society. That's why it's called social cohesion. But we'll unpack a little bit more about
yes, please.
what that means. Thank you very much.
The time has expired now.